It's completely out of touch. And it's insult to the intelligence of the American people and lived experience.
So why would a guy that looks like this, and was also a valedictorian and had a very privileged upbringing, be involved in this kind of a crime?
Yeah, the press conference just began a few moments ago. We're hearing first now from the city of Altoona police, who say they arrested Luigi Mangione.
Stay tuned and I will help you to understand what likely was the cause of what happened to him psychologically to do something like this. And if you're ready, let's get going. All right, before we get started, if you think you know what happened here or why he did this, drop it in the comment section. But the meat of this problem is what was happening between his ears. This is not a diagnosis, but this is likely something that may have been happening. Now, generally, when people find themselves in a situation like this, it falls under the category of persecutory delusions. This specific one would be called delusions of vigilantes. Delusions of vigilantes refer to a mental state where someone believes they have the right to take the law into their own hands, often believing they are actively protecting society from perceived threats even when no real crime is occurring, leading to actions like stalking, harassment, or even violence against individuals they deem guilty without due process. There are lots of examples here. This one may fall under one of two categories. One would be the moral crusader. A person might feel compelled to actively confront and punish individuals they see as morally corrupt. Or it could be the strong sense of moral superiority. They tend to believe they are acting on higher moral ground, justifying their actions as necessary to protect society. Now, as I said, this may not be the case, but it likely is, because you have someone who came from a privileged upbringing to feel as though they've got to go out and do something to stop something. The reason I would say that this falls under a delusional category would be that you're looking at somebody who likely has a higher than average intelligence, that should have a good handle on reality, but for some reason didn't foresee that there would be consequences to their actions. This is living in a land where you think you can truly get away with something that almost no one can get away with now. This person had a background in computer programming, and I believe he was interested in working with AI, so he knew and understood the idea of cameras being everywhere. In fact, he was very careful not to show his face. But the problem is with people like this, that they don't understand the gravity of what they're doing, the effect on the community around them, and the idea that people may be looking at videotape from all kinds of places, not just the places that are very close. So this was either not well thought out, which I believe he believed was very well thought out, or it's yet another example of vigilantism from a delusional perspective. People like this don't generally do things that are this dangerous and have these types of consequences if they don't believe that they are actually coming from a superior moral position. So the scary part is this type of thinking is much more common than you might imagine. Scary stuff, isn't it? All right, guys, if you're still here, do me a favor, click on one of these other videos. I'll be back very soon. See you then.